Hi there, welcome to the first content video of the public speaking course in English for non-native speakers. I'm Guy Ariv, and in this video we're going to learn about the neural nature of language, which is a complicated phrase that I'll be explaining about how our brain stores and processes and retrieves the information necessary for public speaking and for English speaking and basically for any other function that our brain does. And I'm going to use that explanation later on throughout this course to explain how to hack our thinking processes to our best advantage on stage and in English. I want to begin by explaining that our brain is not like a computer. A lot of people think of our brain as a computer or maybe as a library, okay? When you're looking for an information, they think of the brain as like a big hard disk or a big library, which has a catalog. If you're looking for a word, you look up the word in a catalog and there it is stored somewhere, you retrieved it and you have that word. That is not how our brain works. Our brain is actually a network of connections, an enormous network of connection. There are more connections in our brain than there are stars in the universe. I'm not joking, feel free to look me up in Wikipedia. And these connections are of nerve cells. They're called neurons, those cells, that's why neural nature of language. And the connections are called synapses. And those connections are where the information is stored and processed. And this is important. In our brain, storing and processing information are done together. There are no hard disk and processors like in a computer. Every thinking is remembering, every remembering is thinking. Now that we understood that, we have to understand how our brain retrieves information. As we usually expect, when we're looking in a computer, we're looking for a directory and hoping to find it. In our brain, that's different. When a part of our brain is looking for a bit of information, such as an English vocabulary word, or how to play football, or how to name what was the name of that nice person you met last week, or any other kind of information, it sends out a request. And the thing about this request is that it goes out to various parts of our brain, and every time it goes out, those parts of our brain might or might not have the relevant information. If they have it, they give it back, and we have it. If they don't, they sort of send another request to each one is sending to another group of neurons. And if something is retrieved, it's retrieved, and if not, then another group and another group and another group. Let me make sort of an analogy. Imagine you're in an ancient village somewhere, and you are the king looking for, I don't know, a valuable commodity, maybe a medicine, maybe a treasure, whatever. In those days, there are no telecommunications. So if you're looking for something, you need to send messengers to retrieve that, okay? Now, you might be sending 5 or 10 messengers. Each one is going out for an hour or a day or whatever, okay? And they go out to a city or a village around, and if they found it, they bring it back. Sometimes they will find it, sometimes not. If what you're looking for is really easy to find, they'll probably have it back. For example, in our analogy, if I'm looking for a really common phrase, if I'm looking for a really simple English phrase like a car or a boy or food or something like that, chances are it's going to be really easy to achieve it. Now imagine that it didn't come back, okay? What are you as a king do? Well, if you have any foresight, what you would do is you say, okay, you go out for a day, each one of those 10 people. If you didn't find anything, give out money to people in that city, 10 people, and tell them to go forth and look for another 10 and 10 and 10. So altogether, 100 new villages are going to be inquired about the treasure or medicine or whatever. That obviously gives us a much better chance of finding it. Going back to vocabulary, in this analogy, if it's a slightly more complicated word, maybe this time the word is not car, but an SUV, okay, or a Jeep. Maybe it's not food, it's, I don't know, salmon or an apple. Maybe it's not just a person, but a specific one. Anyway, it's slightly more complicated and slightly rare, so you need to search further. This analogy can go on and on and on. You can go for 10 people and 100 and 1,000 and 10,000 and a million and 10 million, etc. In our brain, obviously, the scale is much bigger. It's in the millions and the billions, etc. But the idea is still the same. This process is for searching out for something that I don't really know where it is, but I know who can find it. The search requires time and effort. So while it can be done, it's not infinite. There is a price to pay. And we're going to understand that if it took us too long to find a specific word, it might be too late and we might get stuck in terms of our vocabulary. Might be a small stuck, might be a bigger stuck, I knew that word, I forgot it. Or I might be completely unable to find that word and just give up on it, which is another problem. So now that we understood how our brain is looking for information, on the next video we're going to understand how we can improve our chances of finding the vocabulary we need when we need it. Let's go.